This is Tim Bryce with my column titled Baseball, the Love of the Game. I've always had a fondness for the game of baseball. As a kid, I played Little League but also carried my glove and bat with me just about everywhere for a quick pickup game, whether it was before or after school or during recess. Growing up in Connecticut, I followed the early 1960s Yankees and vividly remember when the Mets were introduced. As we moved around the country, I became a fan of the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Chicago Cubs, and finally watched the emergence of the Big Red Machine in Cincinnati. Frankly, I do not believe we will ever see another team as good as the 1976 Reds. They were very special. I played in co-ed softball leagues as I got older. When I became a parent, I coached boys baseball, girls softball, served on the local Little League board of directors, and umpired to boot. My signature as a coach was to line my kids up on the infield foul line before a game and pledge allegiance to the flag. After all, it is America's game. Curiously, there were some coaches who adamantly opposed me doing this, but I see citizenship as an inherent part of the game. I suffered under no illusion my kids were going to be superstars, and as such, I concentrated on teaching the basics, such as hitting, fielding, and pitching, teamwork, and hopefully the love of the game. There's something magical about the game of baseball: the smell of the grass, the heat of the sun on your back, the taste of the leather string on your cowhide mitt, the crack of the bat, and the excitement of the play. You relish the camaraderie of your teammates, the precision of a perfect bunt, the tenacity of a runner stealing a base, and the grace of an infielder flawlessly throwing out a runner or executing a double play. Baseball is a game of nuances, and you really cannot appreciate it if you never played it. As you approach home plate to bat, you see how the fielders are setting up to play you, either deep, in close, or to a particular field. You take your sign from the third base coach, check the eyes of the pitcher, hear the cheering of the parents, and all along your mind is constantly calculating all the variables involved. Your hands grip the bat as you position yourself in the batter's box. Your body language tells the other team whether or not you can be intimidated. Finally, just before the pitcher makes his windup, you spit. Translation: bring it on. There's also a lot of communications in a baseball game, both vocal and silent. The vocal is rather obvious. The silent communications is a lot more interesting. We're all aware of the third base coach making strange gyrations with his hands in order to call the play, but there are also a lot of subliminal signs not so apparent, such as a manager turning up his collar or crossing his legs. The communications between pitcher and catcher is also well known. The great Willie Mays was notorious for his ability to study and steal the signs of the opposing team. It just takes a little concentration and attention to detail. When I coached Little League and my kids were batting with one or more runners on base, I would suddenly yell from the dugout, "Red 22! Red 22!" Actually, it was nothing more than a smokescreen, as it meant absolutely nothing, but it put the other team on edge as they thought some trick play was about to be executed. My kids thought it was a riot. As a Little League coach, you realize you're having an impact on your players when they start asking you more questions about the game, such as the meaning of the infield fly rule, how to keep a scorecard, how a batting average is calculated, or ERA, the number of ways a runner can advance to first base, which is 8, or the number of ways to make an out, 14. It's no small wonder baseball is a great game for trivia buffs, as there are so many facets to it. Casual spectators do not truly appreciate baseball as much as students of the game. You know you have a love of the game when you collect baseball cards, not as a commodity, but simply to have them. That you keep a prized baseball signed by your teammates many years ago. That you cannot bring yourself to throw away an old baseball bat or glove years after you have stopped using them. Or you completely understood what Pete Rose meant when he said, "I'd walk through hell in a gasoline suit to play baseball." It is a great game. Friends, keep the faith. This is Tim Bryce in Palm Harbor, Florida. Follow me on the internet at timbryce.com.